so glad that my parents exposed me to these movies when I was little, because goodness gracious, they still hold up way after time. I mean, this movie, I looked it up, it came out in the 1940s, 1942 to be exact. That is freaking ancient, yet you can watch this at any point and completely get it. The usage of sound and animation, and it makes me wonder why Disney decided that it was a good idea to veer away from this, to make everything void of emotion and desaturated and not animated. Funny enough, the more CGI and less animated they make it look parallels with how the trajectory of their success is going. Everything is required to be remade, and it's not even remade in a good way. It's not like they update the animation. It just appears devoid of life, as if no thought or soul were invested in the movie, and many of these contemporary productions or remakes just seem as if they were hastily slapped together as some kind of school project, and the people who made it were trying to get some extra credit. I think we can all agree, though, that Bambi is one of those endless classics that just don't need to be remade, and if anything, you can just remake them into a more updated version of the animation, but this still stands the test of time, so I don't see what the problem is. Imagine my surprise now when they say that Disney's move to modernize Bambi remake sparks outrage, because who would have ever thought? First of all, I was really confused as to what they'd be remaking. There was nothing about this needs to be remade. I mean, unless you want to make them disgusting, uncanny valley CGI renditions of the originals.
Here we go again.
But the story was sensitive for family members, for children, and adults alike. This is the problem with the whole modernization situation. I would argue that not everything needs to be changed. There are some stories that can stand the test of time. And the only reason you would need to remake it for any reason is if, of course, it's no longer viewable, so the older versions look as though they were shot in a potato, or you literally want to retell the story in a different medium. While still keeping the soul of the original, you're just remaking it to look realistic, which honestly is more nightmarish in my opinion. So it claims that Disney's Bambi remake will change a key scene to avoid traumatizing kids.
Seriously? Seriously? Seriously?
Will it now? And guess what the scene is they're talking about? So the writer, Lindsay Anderson Beer, recently told Collider that she's working on a script to update the animated 1942 film into a live-action remake for a more, modern audience. I can't take this seriously. She says, I think that to be able to bring it to life for kids these days in a way that they maybe relate to a little bit more would be of service to the original. No, it wouldn't. She would modernize Bambi to make it more relatable to kids today. Why would you need to do that? It's about freaking deer in the forest. How would that relate to kids today? It's not supposed to relate to kids. They're deer in the forest. Not to spoil the plot, but there's a treatment of the mom dying that I think some kids, some parents these days are more sensitive about than they were in the past. And I think that's one of the many reasons they haven't shown it to their children. No, bro, maybe that's just you. Have you actually done a freaking poll to see who actually feels this way? Because I can guarantee it's probably your little bubble of friends who are overly sensitive and clutch their pearls at people kissing in public. I mean, seriously. And honestly, this makes no freaking sense. It makes me so goddamn mad, because there was absolutely nothing wrong with the original. It was already heavily implied, but not outwardly descriptive of her having died. If you were a small child, it might have gone right over your head that Bambi's mother bit the dust. I know it went over mine the very first time I saw it when I was really little, so exactly what are they doing? And I'm sorry, is death not a part of these people's reality? What is going on here? How can you expect to raise kids who are empathetic towards other people if you're scared of just showing them or explaining to them the idea of death? And if they're so small to the point where they won't even understand the concept of death, then it doesn't matter, because this will go right over their freaking heads. I'm gonna show you guys why this is a nothing burger. So this is the scene with Bambi's mom. So they get a little shoots coming up, and she's like, oh, Bambi, look, food, green food, because she knows her son has been tired of eating all that stuff. It was super annoying for him to eat twigs the whole of the winter. So they get a little respite here. So she hears something. She recognizes that something is wrong. She doesn't know what it is, but she has a feeling it's man. So she does the thing that all mothers would do in this situation. She tells her boy to run.
Bambi, quick, the thicket!
Bambi is running for a while because his mom told him no matter what, don't look back, keep going. Keep going. So he does exactly what they had rehearsed all this time. You hear the shot, you don't see his mom. When he gets home, he realizes his mom has not been behind him. It's like, we did it, Mother. We got away, Mom. Then he goes out and he looks for her and he's calling her over and over again. It's very sad. This didn't traumatize me when I was little. And even when I got to the age where I understood it and I watched it over, it still didn't traumatize me. There was no blood. There was no body. There was nothing. I mean, The Land Before Time's first movie did a more graphic job of showing the mother dying than this did. And that didn't traumatize me either because I'm a regular functioning person with a brain that understands that this is a part of the life cycle of death with animals. As this person eloquently put, yes, you should talk to your small children about death. Death is a part of life and everything dies, sometimes unexpectedly. Trying to shield a child from that concept will likely cause more issues than being upfront and honest. And your child has noticed that the missing cat, whether they've expressed it or not, they've noticed it. It makes more sense to give them a reason for the cat's disappearance than to leave them to figure it out for themselves. It's really about how you present it. They take their cues from you. If you act traumatized, they will absorb death as awful and traumatic. If you act calm, accepting, but sad, then they will absorb that death happens. It's sad, but we can move on. I mean, fucking common sense. That's why I feel this person who's rewriting the script is like projecting really hard based on their experience of something, probably based on the notion, I could be wrong, that their parents probably act traumatized and made a big deal about something that really wasn't a big deal and is a normal part of reality that a lot of people seem to not be able to cope with for some reason. How are you gonna make a woke Bambi to relate to people, make it relatable, and to have us feel empathetic towards the plight of deer being hunted unfairly or overly hunted if you do not show the aspect of them being killed or describe that? That's the whole point that this movie made, to respect life. And the person in the movie, this unforeseen, horrible entity in the movie, was just killing animals indiscriminately. Like, we could see that. They were doing it for fun. It wasn't because they needed to eat. In the early stages, it was someone who was literally just trying to find food. But from what I know about hunting, now I could be wrong, if you see a doe with a fawn, you don't kill the doe because you want the fawn to grow up so that they can keep the population going and you can have more food. You target a doe if she's not with the fawn. Now, if she's actively with the fawn, you could still have the fawn somewhere hiding, which is usually what deer would do. But from what I know, hunters don't make it a habit to actively kill mother deer, does who have fawns with them, particularly if the fawns that are with them have spots still. Once their spots are gone, that's a surefire way of recognizing that they're weaned and they can probably survive on their own. I love the voice actor for Bambi, by the way, because he sounds identical to a baby deer.
Your mother can't be with you anymore.
That's so very, very sad.
All his father said was, your mother cannot be with you anymore. And it's implied, especially to the grown-ups watching this, that his mother is dead. At one point did they say, your mother bit the dust and died, bitch. No one said that. We didn't see a body. It was beautifully and tastefully done. We know exactly what happened. You see the result of other animals' bodies dying later on, and you get the real stakes of the danger. But there is no blood in those either, so I don't understand what modern take they're gonna do. Are they gonna make him twerk in front of the camera and have his cell phone while he's vaping? How can they possibly modernize Bambi? Bambi has been a hit. My parents, I'm pretty sure it's before their time, definitely, and they were able to watch it. It was passed down to them, they passed it down to me, and nobody was traumatized. I don't know in what world a scene like that would traumatize someone. There's something seriously mentally wrong with you if it traumatizes you. There are deeper issues at play. Something like that in an animated film traumatized you, and that's something you need to go to a therapist for. It does not help kids to dissociate the reality of situations and what happens to animals, and you cannot help the environment if you downplay all of this. This makes no freaking sense. Now, To be fair, we don't know exactly how this person's going to attempt to do this, but given the track record of Disney's freaking remakes, I have a feeling it's gonna be one of those very stupid, idiotic executions, and I'm not even gonna pay to watch it. There are some things that just need to be left alone. Why don't we get anime versions of all the old animated freaking series? That would be freaking awesome. Bambi is fine as it is. Ugh, it's annoying. Oy vey.
La 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 la.
Oh wait, before I leave.
I'm Celine.
Is it guys losing their shit over women they're gonna modernize as well? Like, I don't think they should modernize that. I think it's wonderful representation for us women and the power that we wield to be able to make men weak. Boom, maybe you can finally, like, openly make Flower gay or something. How about that? I don't know. I'm grasping at straws here, trying to figure out what the hell is going on with these freaking people in this freaking studio. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. This has been Ultiori. You ask, we answer.